What's going on, everybody? This is Gary from Final Round Training. I am very excited to put out this series of heavy bag training for beginners. We've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of people asking us, what are the best ways for us to start? We have a ton of tutorials on the channel, but I thought that this would be a great way for me to kind of just put it all into one. Everything that you need to know as a beginner to be effective and train safely and effectively on the heavy bag. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 1, where we're going to cover distance and punching for the heavy bag. Now, making sure that you have the proper distance is going to make a big difference in how hard and how powerful your punches can actually be. It's also going to make a big difference on the type of workout that you get. Are you going to get an effective workout or one that is not effective? If you are punching correctly, if you are at a correct distance from the heavy bag, you're going to maximize your results because you're going to be constantly fully extending your punches. And the more that I fully extend my punches, the more that I'm doing this turning motion and the more that I'm going to work my midsection. Every time you train the heavy bag or train with the heavy bag, you should always feel your core working. Your lats should be firing, and that's just for making sure we're at the proper distance, doing proper punching, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so the first and most important thing is always making sure you are at the correct distance while you're working the heavy bag. Generally, the rule of thumb is if I'm in my fighting stance facing the bag and I fully extend my jab hand or my lead arm and I'm touching the bag like this is the correct distance. If I'm in here and I extend my arm and look, you see how my arm is bent? I am too close. This is what we would call smothering your punches. If, look, when I'm punching like this, my arms never get that full extension. I am too close to the heavy bag. The other thing is if I'm too far away. When I'm here and I reach, I can't reach the bag or touch the bag, I am too far. What's going to happen then is if I start punching from back here, I'm going to lean forward with my punches. We're going to build this bad habit of leaning in too much. And what happens is if you get into a fight and you lean in and somebody punches at the same time, your face and that punch are going to meet at the same time. It's not going to end well for you. So again, just to recap, the correct position for your distance. I'm in the front of the heavy bag, in my fighting stance. My hands are up. I fully extend my left arm or my jab hand, whatever hand is in front. As long as I can touch the bag, I'm at the correct distance and I can start getting to work. That's step 1. All right, now, once we got our distance, step 2 is making sure that we're getting a nice pop on the bag when we're hitting it. Every time I punch the bag, the number one thing I see people making a mistake is punching and trying to push through the bag. Every time you hit the bag, we're not trying to punch through it. I'm trying to get a snap on the palm, almost like a whip. I want my arm to be like a whip. So when I'm punching, we're gonna stick with the basics of just the jab and the cross. I want, as soon as I throw my punch and I feel that my hand touches the bag, I want to bring it right back to my face. And that's how we're gonna get that snapping motion, and that's how we're gonna put a little bit of speed on that punch as well. So if I just start with my jab, I'm here. As soon as I throw it out, I turn my thumb like this. I just think of turning my thumb fast and bringing it right back to my face. So it would look like this here. So as soon as I touch, come right back. If I want to throw the cross, it's the same idea. Here. Touch and come back, touch and come back. And you notice that when I hit the bag, it doesn't necessarily swing like this. It kind of rattles a little bit, right? So I'll do it again. Watch the bag move. If I do it wrong, you see how it starts to swing? That's incorrect. If I do it correctly, watch the way the bag moves. You see how it almost doesn't move? It's getting that little rattle. That's how you know you've punched correctly. That's step 2. All right, now step 3 is the placement of your punches. When I'm working this, we're training. Boxing is boxing. We're training to fight somebody. Now, whether you're gonna step into a ring or not, doesn't matter. It still doesn't change the fact that when I'm punching and working the heavy bag, when I throw my straight, my jab, my cross, my hook, I should always be aiming at the same spot, and it should always be eye level with me. So if I'm this tall, all my punches should be here. You see how it's about the same size, like the same height as my own face. Now, if I were to switch and go to the body, my body shots are going to be up here, because look, on me, that's my chest, I'm trying to hit here, somebody's body. So all my body shots should be low. So if I'm gonna punch high with my top punches or my head punches are jab, cross, hook, my uppercuts, then I have my body shots, okay? Making sure that we have the correct placement of our punches. My head punches are up here, my body punches are down here where they should be. So if I were to mix up a combination, let's say jab, cross, left to the body, my jab, cross are up high, my left to the body comes low. Here. Make sure that you're always punching at the correct distance, or the correct height rather, for whatever it is that you're trying to do. That's step 3. Step 4, the last one, is making sure that all my punches are going to the same target. So we're practicing to punch somebody in the face, right? My face is not that big. So there's no reason that if let's say I wanted to throw a cross hook on the heavy bag, which is another very common mistake. My cross will be here, and when people do it wrong, their hook is like all the way here. Look at the distance between my hands. Nobody's face is that long, you know what I mean? So when I throw my hook, or the hook in particular, which is the one that's usually the one that gets messed up, if my cross is here, my hook is right next to it. So if you see my hands, how close they are, I'll lower it just so you can see a little better. They're right next to each other. So it's here, here. I'm aiming at the same exact spot on the bag when I'm punching up high. So if I were to do a big combo, all of my punches were in the same exact spot hitting the bag. I'm not punching here and then hooking back here. And the same rule applies when you hit to the body. If I'm hitting to the body, it's okay. If I want to work with a hook to the body, it's one thing. But for the most part, my body punches should be on the same target. So if this lettering here is my target, you see how both my body punches hit that target. So we want to be very specific with our targeting. Once I have my correct distance, if I'm aiming at the same spot, I'm always going to make sure I get that full rotation, and I'm going to make sure I'm punching correctly. We don't want your punches to be out here like this. You can see the difference when I did that. It does not look nice and it's not good for you. So make sure you're aiming at the same target at all times. That's step number 4. When you have all 4 steps down, you can look a little something like this. All right, everybody, and that is it for episode number 1, covering distance and punching. Episode number 2 coming out soon is going to cover movement around the heavy bag as well as control of the heavy bag, making sure that you know how to properly move around the bag and make sure the bag's not always swinging all over the place. We want it to be controlled. We want to make sure that your workouts are effective and safe. So we hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. You guys doing that helps us keep this channel going. So if you are a complete beginner and you want to learn how to box and you really want to look cool hitting the bag, you want to make sure you're getting really good workouts on the bag, but you honestly don't know what to do or where to start, I have an awesome course for you where I teach you all of the basics step by step to make sure that you're getting the maximum level of results when you hit that heavy bag. Go ahead and click the link in the description below. I would love to work with you. Stay tuned for more, guys.